Hey guys, and welcome back. So I'm going to do just a very quick review of the brand new 4K release of Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Now you may notice from this picture that I did pick up the steelbook from Best Buy just because I really liked the look of it with the yellow and everything kind of matching the original one sheet, which by the way I do have a copy of. Which I keep saying I should probably do sort of a couple videos on some of my movie poster collection. It'd also be a good way to kind of go through it and just figure out, because I am going to start selling off some of them. So I need to kind of figure out which ones I want to keep and which ones, well, it'd been nice having them. I mean, honestly, some of them are just sitting in a box. So a couple things about this new 4K release. If you're not 4K yet and you're Blu-ray only, the Blu-ray that comes in the 4K release does have the new transfer on it, but it is not going to be sold separately. So just kind of keep an eye out for it. Now, obviously, if you want the steelbook like this one, it is a Best Buy exclusive. Sometimes they sell out pretty fast with the steelbook, so you may want to jump on that if you're interested. Otherwise, the regular release is going to be available, it's not limited or anything. So depending on price, you may even want to wait for a sale. Might be, with Halloween coming up, might be a sale during that month. Black Friday, of course, is coming up. That could be another option. Now, as far as the 4K overall release, let's get the negatives out of the way first. Two big things. One, unfortunately, the original mono audio is not on this release. I don't know why. That should pretty much be standard with any movie released. I don't mind them doing remixes, but the original audio mix should always be an option on every movie release, unless there's for some reason a reason not to. But I can't imagine why there wouldn't be. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any audio for it either way. So. Another thing which is causing some minor controversy online, depending on which forums you read, and that is the aspect ratio. So The Shining was shot in 35mm, and it was matted off for 1.85 to 1 for theatrical releases, which is standard. That's how, thousands of films are done that way. And Stanley Kubrick did film it so that the unmatted version of the frame, so the very top and the very bottom, were going to be free of anything so that they could be shown open matte on television. For example, he was taking that into account, which is sometimes why on some films that were not done that way, very old releases that were shot for a 1.85 to 1 matte and then released on video in an open frame without any letterboxing or anything. Sometimes that's why you would see like the boom mic overhead. It's like, oh my god, the sound guy should be fired for that. It's like, no, that's actually not a mistake of the sound guy. It's just the fact that that area is not meant to be seen. Now, in the case of this new release, it is 1.78 to 1 on video. Now, the 1.78 to 1 is basically the HD standard. Now, it's close enough to 1.85 to 1 where it's not really making that much of a difference as far as difference between 1.85 and the 1.78 to 1. Some people have noticed that there's slightly bit of cropping. Now, I'm not sure if there's actual cropping as much as I think some older video releases actually had a little bit of overscan. I'm not really 100% sure. Now, I can tell you just by watching it that it looked great. I didn't notice any framing anomalies. And also, as far as extras go, there are no new extras. The extras that were on the previous release have been ported over, which is great, with the exception, unfortunately, the theatrical trailer is not on this release. Why? I don't know. That should actually be standard also on every release, unless for some reason the trailer either, you can't find it in the case of some movies, or sometimes in the marketing they use kind of a pop song at the time that's not in the movie, so they don't want to clear the rights just for the trailer. I can understand that. That's a good reason not to have the trailer. Other than that, and considering previous releases had the trailer on it, it should be on that. So between the aspect ratio, the missing mono, and no theatrical trailer, those are kind of the negatives of the release. Now, the positives of the release is the fact that 4K transfer that was done is stunning. It just looks amazing. It also has the correct color timing. For those of you who don't know, the old Blu-ray release, and I believe the DVD release before that one, possibly, had some color timing issues. Color timing was not 100% accurate. One key thing was in the scene when Danny's playing on the rug and the tennis ball kind of rolls in on him. In the original release, as in color timing with this one, it's a yellow ball. For some reason in the old release, the color timing was off and it was actually a pink ball. So this release does have the actual correct color timing. And another thing is the remixed audio. It does have a different remix than the 5.1 surround mix that was on the older release, where I think they went kind of haywire with some of the surround. This one is a little bit more subdued. Now, I did read one review that said that they felt some of the sound cues were louder than they should be. I'm not 100% sure about that, because the sound cues that come in, they do come in, specifically it's more third act stuff where it comes in pretty strong, but I think it's supposed to. And I think if you go back and actually watch the mono version from an old release, you'll notice that it does, the music in the third act does kick in a lot stronger. I don't know how much of that is at the fault of the mix or just the fact that it's a little bit more prominent now in this new mix. I didn't have a problem with the new mix, but I do wish the original mono was on this release. Now, it is also playing theatrically here and there, and so I highly recommend if it's playing near you, definitely go see it in the theater. It's the best way to see it. And despite some of the caveats, I do highly recommend the new 4K release of The Shining. It just looks and sounds amazing. I mean, if you're at all a fan of The Shining, I'm sure there are one or two people out there who aren't. But for most of us, we love The Shining, and this is definitely the release to get. And the exciting thing, too, is that there are more Stanley Kubrick films being restored, and they're being transferred. I believe they're all being transferred from their original negative, which I can't wait for. I know one of them is Clockwork Orange, which is probably my favorite Stanley Kubrick one, so I'm excited to hear about that. And hopefully that comes out next year. But in the meantime, again, this is definitely highly, highly recommended. In fact, I almost want to go watch it again right now. Except I can't. I gotta go edit this video. So maybe again later. So that's my quick review of The Shining. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.